Hey y'all, welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, we've got a third in our Derby preps for this week, and that's the San Felipe. It's a grade two run at Santa Anita on Saturday's card. Eighth race, running a mile and a 16th for the 3-year-olds. And you see it's a small field. Sadly, that seems to be the norm at Santa Anita. We've got a couple of maidens in this race, Mellencamp and Berlin Wall, I believe. Bob Baffert, of course, is well represented. He's got Barnes and Rodriguez in journalism, making his 3-year-old debut. I know a lot of people are pretty excited about that for Mike McCarthy. Looking at this field, obviously the Bafferts are really where it's at. I mean, Barnes, I didn't mention when looking at the field, but obviously Barnes is one that a lot of people like. First effort around 2 turns. Just going through them one by one. We'll start with the early runners. Mellencamp is a maiden, and he is trained by Bob Baffert. I forgot to mention that, but I haven't seen enough out of him. I mean, he hasn't won. He's had a lot of chances too, and I don't think that he's got enough to take this one down. He probably isn't going to factor. Probably would likely be a pace factor, perhaps early on, but that would be the extent of it. And I don't like him, so he's a toss. I really like Rodriguez. I loved that San Vicente. I just thought that was a really spectacular effort when you consider that he was boxed in on the inside, fell back, looked like he was done. And you're thinking, okay, maybe it's a maiden who shot his load in the last race that was so impressive, but then you know what? He goes to the back and re-rallies, but the way he re-rallied with that big acceleration, I really liked what I saw, and I'll tell you, I think he is. I know I've heard Bob Baffert say that he's maybe not physically as mature as some of his other 3-year-old prospects, but this one looks pretty damn good, and I'm going to take him in this race. It's going to. I mean, I think it's going to be a Baffert, whether it's Rodriguez or Barnes, but I'm going to go a little bit against the grain because I just really liked what I saw from Rodriguez. Journalism hasn't done anything wrong, and you have to like a horse who's been coming from off the pace in California, and as well as at Los Alamitos. Those are, Santa Anita, Del Mar, and Los Al are all speed favoring. And this horse is coming from off the pace and winning. His second race in particular, I really like, and that was at Santa Anita, and it just showed some really excellent acceleration. I think this is a really solid Derby prospect without a doubt. We'll see how he does on Saturday. All I'm thinking is that maybe a little too much early speed, a little too much firepower for a horse who's coming off the bench in his debut this year. Mike McCarthy is decent with horses off the bench, but I just have a feeling that this one he might be a little short coming into this one, and that's really my only qualm with him. I like him as a horse, and I think you absolutely have to use him in here. I'm just going to give it to one of the Bafferts, really for the fact that they've already run this year. That's more than anything else. Barnes is, a horse that obviously Bob Baffert thinks a lot of, and why wouldn't he? He's a multi-million-dollar purchase. He hasn't done anything wrong. Had a good maiden at Churchill, and then came back and won the San Vicente with authority. So, there's nothing. I have nothing against Barnes at all. I just I just liked Rodriguez's last race better. That's all it is, really, more than anything else. He's certainly one of the top two who can win this, and I'm not trying to be contrarian. I just liked what I saw from Rodriguez, and I that's really where it comes down to more than anything else. It's either him or Barnes, in my opinion, in this race. Smooth Cruising has been kind of interesting. Seen some interesting efforts coming from off the pace to win his maiden on the West Coast is a pretty good effort. Really hasn't built on it though, and once he got into a race where there was some class, he was nowhere, and I think maybe that'll be the same for the same here. So Smooth Cruising is a toss. Berlin Wall underneath for the suck up because he comes from the clouds. He can't win this race, I don't think, particularly the way he runs at Santa Anita. But if Smooth Cruising tries to get a little bold and actually tries to compete with the top runners in here, then he'll fall back and Berlin Wall will keep running. So you throw him in as a suck up in the exotics, but that would be the extent of it. So look at our wagering strategy. It's real simple. I'm going with Rodriguez to win. You want to go with Barnes? I get it. It's going to be one of those two. I'm convinced of it. I just think journalism needs a race. That's the only thing. And you're that. But for anybody, I'm not against him as a horse. I'm just against him in this race a little bit. So Rodriguez to win. Then we'll do our exactas 4-3, 3-4. We'll leverage Dutch a little bit with Rodriguez and Barnes, and then we'll do Rodriguez and journalism. Trifecta, we'll go 4 with 2-3, 2-3. Then we'll go 3-4, 3-4 with 2-6. Then 3-4, 2-6 with 3-4. And that one's a little bit of a reach because I don't necessarily think Berlin Wall has enough to get to second. But who knows, if you want to just do 3-4 with 2 with 3-4, that probably makes a little more sense in that regard. So, short discussion. They usually are in California, sadly. This one, there is some intrigue with journalism. Let's see how he comes back. I just don't think that Baffert, because since he will be able to control this race, is necessarily going to give him the pace that might help journalism's cause. He may not need it. He may be that good. I've really liked what I've seen from him. I just want to see a race this year to start at 3, and that's all. So we'll go with Rodriguez in the San Felipe. I hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. Wish you the best of luck as always. And of course, if you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. Thanks to all of you who continue to grow this community. I very much appreciate it. We're going to have more. I think the clamor so far from those of you who have got back to me is let's concentrate on Gulfstream because we can get an all stakes pick 5. So that's what we're going to do. We will have, I'm going to try to do some individual postings from Santa Anita. There is a Oaks Prep out there as well as the Big Cap. And so we're going to try to get to those time permitting. So more content coming on the way this week, and we'll have our Derby Top 10 as well. So that's it from here. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.